Hello, vinyl community. How you doing? It's Bill with the Vinylverse. Happy New Year to everybody. Good to see you all again. Back here to do this video, the Vinyl Tag 2024. Love these vinyl tags. This is my sixth one, I think. Sixth consecutive year. So these vinyl tag questions came to us once again from Rob Walker, Let the Music Play. Thanks, Rob, for putting this together. I love vinyl tag. It's a great way to get to see all these different channels answer the same exact questions that you're answering. It's great for new video creators that want to start making videos. It's a great way for them to get involved. It's a great way for us to become aware of channels that we weren't familiar with before. And it's a lot of fun. You get to go through your collection and pretty much everyone's answers or responses are different, and that makes it quite enjoyable. So we're all really bringing that community, the vinyl community, together in the vinyl tag. And it's great. Then, of course, you get these offshoots vinyl tags, genre-specific vinyl tags. I think it's great. But I'm going to answer or respond to Rob Walker's vinyl tag, and a lot to do here, so let's get started. Question or prompt 1. Favorite record you purchased in 2023? Okay, I thought I would keep this to a new release of 2023, and my favorite album that favorite new release that I picked up in 2023, and I might be a little biased, but it is Peter Gabriel, I.O. Peter Gabriel, one of my absolute favorite artists, and he put out this album this year. It's been a long time coming. He's been working on this album since, what, 2001 maybe, so long time. Interesting, he had been releasing the songs from this album every full moon of 2023, so every full moon of every month a new song would come out. First several I listened to, but then I was like, you know, I want to wait until the album, so I stopped doing that, and then this album was released on December 1st. So love this album. Very creative and very crafted songs. He always has a great atmosphere, which I love. Just a great album. Peter Gabriel, I.O. Favorite release of 2023. Number 2, the last record you bought in 2023. So the last record I bought in 2023, after watching Sea of Tranquility's In the Prague Seat, Favorite Albums of 2023 episode, several of the panelists had brought this album up, and it's Arabs in Aspic, The Magic of Sin. This album, I'm not sure if this is the first time it was released on vinyl, but it came out, I don't know, a few years ago, 2017, 2018, something like that. And it has just come out on vinyl for 2023. And this is a Norwegian band, Arabs in Aspic. Really cool artwork, kind of dark here. This is the last album I picked up in 2023. Number 3, a band or singer who released 2 or more albums in the same year. No-brainer for me, and anytime I get to show Genesis, I will do that. So in the year 1976, they released 2 albums, A Trick of the Tail, and then Wind and Wuthering. 2 absolute great, fantastic Genesis records. A Trick of the Tail being my number 2 favorite Genesis record. Love both of these. So 2 albums released in 1976 by Genesis. Okay, number 4. If you could only listen to music for 1 decade, which decade would that be? I'm going to pick the 1970s. What a great decade of music. 70s is my favorite decade of music. It, you know, it was a big decade for prog, progressive rock, krautrock, groups like Tangerine Dream, of course, Genesis, who I just showed, Yes, Gentle Giant, King Crimson, all my favorites, David Bowie, all put out a lot of great records in the 70s, and that would be the decade I choose. I can't give up those groups, those records. Okay, number 5, show a record by a band or singer from Manchester. So Rob Walker comes to us from Manchester, and I had to research what bands and singers were from Manchester that I had in my collection, and I came across this. So this is the Caretaker, and Caretaker is a one-man band. James Leland Kirby is the man behind the Caretaker, and he comes to us from Stockport in Greater Manchester. He put out a series of records, which this is one of, which kind of gives you the sense of what your mind, what happens to your mind with like Alzheimer's. Really interesting record. It's a lot of samples and stuff from old 78 records that he kind of looped, and really, really interesting stuff. So the Caretaker from Manchester. Okay, number 6. Which band or singer did you listen to the most in 2023? So not only 2023, but 2022, my most listened to band for both years is Marillion. This is a band that I've just really fallen in love with these past 2 years, and just pretty much cannot get enough of them. My most listened to band by far for 2023. Number 7, shows 7 7-inch records. So here I got some of my 7-inch singles. These are all 80s, what I like to call my 80s singles vault. I'm going to pull 7 at random, similar to Mazzy's Whack-A-Mole. So I'm not really looking, I'm just going to grab random records. Here's 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, you just saw me pick those records, pick those 7-inch records, and here is what I grabbed out of the 80s singles vault. All right, we got Animotion and their single Obsession. Let's see. This is back with Turnaround. Okay, then I picked the Cars. This is Drive. Back with Stranger Eyes on Electrica there. Then I grabbed Fleetwood Mac. This is Hold Me. Back with Eyes of the World. Okay, then I grabbed the promo copy of In Excess, The One Thing. Stereo and mono. So mono on the white side and stereo on the blue side. Okay. Prince and the Revolution. Let's Go Crazy. Back with Erotic City. This label is torn up there. Okay. Supertramp. It's Raining Again. Back with Bonnie. Okay, Timbuk 3. The Future is So Bright I Gotta Wear Shades. This is a promo. Yeah. was looking for where it said promotional copy right there. So those are my 7-inch singles. All right, what number are we on? Number 8, who's coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people to come to an imaginary dinner party. Past or present, who would you invite? Okay, I invited some very important musicians to me who I would love to just be able to sit down and talk to. Not necessarily as a group in a dinner party, but I've would love to talk to these 4, excuse me, I would love to talk to these 4 artists. Of course, Peter Gabriel, who I mentioned earlier. Would love to sit down and talk to him at the dinner party. Bill Bruford, my absolute hands-down favorite drummer. Would love to sit down and speak with him at the dinner party. John Coltrane. Would love to sit down and talk with him as well. And lastly, George Harrison. I would love to have been able to speak to George Harrison. So he's invited to my dinner party and would love to talk with George. Beatle George. Okay, number 9. We lost them. Choose 1 musician who passed away in 2023. Sadly, I'm wearing my Gentle Giant shirt. Sadly, Ray Schulman passed away last year. So Gentle Giant, one of my favorite bands. Really sad that he passed away. Ray Schulman, the youngest of the 3 Schulman brothers, all who were in Gentle Giant. Bass guitar, violin, guitar, everything, percussion. Great musician. Let's see, here's Gentle Giant's debut album. Here's Ray here. Yeah, sad to have lost Ray Schulman from Gentle Giant, one of my favorite bands. So yeah, that one kind of hit me a little hard to lose Ray, but that's my answer for number 9. All right, number 10. Imagine you could only listen to music from 1 country. Which country would you choose? So this was hard, but being that 7 out of 10 of my favorite artists or singers are from England, I have to choose England. I wouldn't be able to give up hearing their music. So, you know, David Bowie, bands like Pink Floyd, of course Genesis, Gentle Giant, Jethro Tull, yes, and bands like King Crimson. So I have to pick England because I wouldn't be able to give up all of the great prog bands that I love so much. All right, number 11. Number 11, name 3 vinyl community channels you discovered in 2023. Okay, so 2023, a very challenging year for me to not only to create videos, but to sit and watch videos. And when I did sit and watch videos, it was usually late at night on the TV. But I did come across several new channels, and 3 I'm going to mention. Brian over at Embryonic Robot, just a few months ago, discovered him. Really nice guy. And just enjoyed his, first of all, his room looks wonderful. But just enjoyed his presentation of himself, the way he speaks about the music. And yeah, just seems like a lovely guy, and I enjoy watching him when I can. Number 2, Nathan on Shuffle. I like Nathan on Shuffle. He's very warm, has a very warm presence. Always very positive. I love, on Sundays, he brings his wife along and they listen to a prog song and he gets her reaction, which is fun. And Nathan's a prog guy like me, so we're into a lot of the same music. So I'm not sure I've ever commented on Nathan's videos, but I will correct that in 2024 and try to be a little more communicative with different channels. So that's a great one. And finally, I discovered, I think it was this past year, 2023, Art in North Carolina, the North Carolina vinyl picker. Another prog guy like me. I love that Art. He always calls his videos, he calls it his show. Didn't have the chance to meet up with Art because when I went down to Charlotte, North Carolina in June, I always take a trip down in June. But maybe in 2024, me and Art can sync up. So North Carolina vinyl picker. Those are the 3 channels. Links are down below. Check them out. Give them a sub and enjoy their videos. Number 12. Show a record you bought when you were a teenager. One of the records I bought when I was a teenager is Traffic's Mr. Fantasy. And this is still that copy. This is an 80s version of this record on Island. So yeah, you have Steve Winwood, Jim Capaldi, Dave Mason, Chris Wood. This is their debut album. Kind of a little bit psychedelic. Of course, it's got the title track, Dear Mr. Fantasy, is just a fantastic song. So yeah, I bought this when I was a teenager, probably, I don't know, 15, 16 years old. I picked this up. Number 13, show a funk or soul record. Well, 2023 is the year I started diving deeper into soul and funk. I didn't really have any soul records, but last year I made it a point to pick up some stuff, and I've been enjoying them very much. One of the things I picked up in 2023 is The Temptations with a lot of soul. And what a great album this is. I picked this up, I was just mentioning my trip to North Carolina. I picked this up at Noble Records in Charlotte, Matthews, North Carolina on that visit. So yeah, wonderful record. As a matter of fact, when I was digging in Noble Records, I think I asked John, the digital gramophone, who I was hanging out with that day, to recommend some things, and I'm pretty sure he found this for me. It was really, really cheap. Picked it up. It's a great record. Temptations with a lot of soul. Number 14, show a record you think everyone has, then show a record you think nobody has. Okay, I don't need to say anything about this record. Everybody has this one, right? Yeah. Now, a record that I think no one has. I received this as a gift from Eric Weinbender several years back. This is You Always Know Where You Stand with a Buzzard by Clive John. This is prog. Clive John was in the prog band Man. Oops, there's the letter or card from Eric in here. There's the back. And I certainly wasn't familiar with this when I received it from Eric, but it's quite enjoyable. And I've never ever seen anyone talk about this record or show it in the VC. So I'm sure someone has it, but that's my answer. Number 15, She's Great, a record by a female artist you bought in 2023. I'm a big fan of electronic music, synthesizers, and this year I found 7 Waves by Suzanne Ciani. Kind of electronic, maybe not pioneer is the right word, but she did a lot for electronic music. This is a beautiful record, 7 Waves, from 1982. Yes, 1982. This is a Japanese copy. I believe this was originally only available in Japan. So this is an original. And wonderful music, synthesizer music. Suzanne is great. She is still out there today, touring. Would love to see her. But yeah, Suzanne Ciani. Really, really great. Okay, number 16, the favorite video you posted on your channel in 2023 and the favorite video you watched on the VC in 2023. So I mentioned earlier that I think I mentioned. So the 2023, this I think is the least amount of videos I posted on my channel in a year. And I've been doing this since 2018. I put out 12 videos this year. So not a whole lot to choose from. I'd say none of them are very memorable, but I will pick my Charlotte, North Carolina dig video that I did, showing what I picked up on my trip to Charlotte when I was hanging out with John, the Digital Gramophone, and Dave, the VC ambassador. Love those guys. Always fun meeting up with them. Of course, meeting up with Dylan at Noble Records. So that is going to be my answer for my favorite video, just because of those memories of being down there with those guys. Now, on the flip side, favorite video that I watched. Again, I mentioned that my view time, it's been harder to commit time to watching when I do. It's usually later at night on the TV, so can't really comment that way, but that's neither here or there. I couldn't really think of what my favorite was. A lot of great videos that I watched, but one that stood out that made me laugh and still does, even though it was very tastefully done. Michael P. Dawson, one of my absolute favorite channels in the VC, one of my friends here, he put out a video highlighting Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Love Beach album. If you know anything about that album, it's not very good. He went through it and he had some funny quips about it, and it was just entertaining. So that's my answer. Michael P. Dawson and his Love Beach, Emerson, Lake and Palmer Love Beach video. All right, number 17, show me a record you describe as a 90s classic. And I'm ready for you to come at me, because this band does not get a lot of love anymore, but 1991's Achtung Baby by U2. When this album came out, I wasn't even really the biggest U2 fan back then. Liked some of the hits, but when this album came out, it really knocked my socks off, and I've really loved it ever since. And I think U2 are great, but 90s classic right here, 1991. Say what you will about the band, but I think it's great. I love it, and yeah. That's my answer. Your number 18. If I could walk into the cover, look through your collection, and choose a record cover you'd like to be a part of. It's a great question, but it took me a while. Took me a little while to figure this out. But if I really sat down and thought about it, which I did, I'd want to walk into this album cover. Genesis Live. I would want to be sitting right there front row for this concert. Never got to see Genesis with Peter Gabriel. Didn't get to see Genesis until the late 80s. But thankfully I've seen them several, bunch of times since. But if I could have walked into this, sat down on the front row for this show, yeah, I would have been blown away. Now, there is a cover band called The Musical Box who performs early Genesis with Peter Gabriel, that era of music. And they recreate everything, the stage design, the costumes, you name it. And they are great. I've seen them lots and lots of times, so that's the closest thing that I will ever get to see this. But if I could have seen this, that would have been just amazing. Number 19, It's Like a Greatest Hits. Show a record you're so familiar with that it feels like a greatest hits. Could have picked so many albums, but B-52's Wild Planet, my favorite B-52's album. This is, like, I know this album like a glove. So Party Out of Bounds, Dirty Back Road, Running Around, Give Me Back My Man, Private Idaho, Devil in My Car, Quiche Lorraine, Strobe Light, and 53 Miles West of Venus. Just about every track is great. Quiche Lorraine, I tolerate it. But especially the songs where Cindy Wilson takes lead, Give Me Back My Man. Yeah, love it. Greatest hits, B-52s. Fantastic. Number 20, we're there. Show me an album that was released in 1974. So I got this not that long ago. So I wanted to show it here because I haven't shown it yet. But 1974, Robert Wyatt, Rock Bottom. And it's a promotional copy. So Robert Wyatt, of course, member of Soft Machine and then Matching Mole. This is his second solo record, and wonderful, really beautiful stuff here. He recorded this. He had an accident. He fell out a window, broke his back, and became paralyzed. And after that happened, I don't know, 6 months down the road or whatever, he recorded this album, and it is wonderful. Robert Wyatt's voice is beautiful, and it's just a beautiful piece of music. Came out in 1974. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Vinyl Tag 2024. Rob Walker, thank you so much for once again getting these questions out there for everyone. I've seen lots of participation, which is awesome. Great to see so many people doing the Vinyl Tag, and all the different little shoot-offs and stuff, which I may have one of my own coming at some point. But yeah, 2024. Best wishes to everybody out there for a great year. I am really going to try harder to be more active in this community, making videos, watching videos. It's been really challenging with stuff here at home, but I'm really going to make an effort to do more of this. So I hope to. But sometimes it's just out of your control, which a lot of times it has been for me. But the desire is there, and I just want to thank everybody who has supported me over these years that I've been making videos, especially now in 2024. Appreciate you all watching and commenting, and thank you. So going to sign off here. Happy New Year to everybody. Best wishes to you all. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video, and I'll be commenting on your vinyl tags real soon. Okay, take care. Bye.